Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics. Today I want to talk about everyday carry light techniques. You're going to use a light a lot more often than you're going to use your firearm, hopefully. And if you use your firearm a little light, you need to make sure you have a light so you can be able to see and identify your targets, and identify your targets from non-targets, non-threats, threats. Having a light is indispensable. I think that kind of goes without saying, but a lot of things that I see when I run my low light classes is people who don't have a whole lot of experience just functioning the light before they actually bring the gun into play. The light is a tool. It's a deterrent. It can be used as a deterrent, and it's definitely a force multiplier. It can actually help prevent someone from attempting to mug you or take some kind of action, some kind of crime against you in low light conditions. So what we're going to talk about in this video are just some real basic techniques for the use of the light in your everyday environment that you can use to hopefully keep yourself from ever having to go to the gun. All right, so everyday carry the light. Anytime you find yourself in a low light environment, be it outside, you're walking your car, walking home from somewhere, coming inside, or parking garage, or in a building, or anywhere where the light drops to a level where you can only make out vague shapes, or you can't really clearly identify facial features of someone from a reasonable distance. Have the light in your hand. There's absolutely no reason why you can't just carry the light in your hand. I use a couple different lights. I tend to carry the smaller stream lights. This is the ProTac 2L, and I also have the 1L. What kind of lumens do you need? Personally, I believe that any kind of self-defense light should be in the neighborhood of 90 to 250. You can go up to 500. However, the problem with 500 in close quarters is that 500 lumen beam, especially on white walls, which most walls are white, any kind of reflective surfaces at all, it's going to bounce back. You're going to get backsplash, which can temporarily blind you as well. So light choice, quality light, obviously spend the money. Don't go with a cheap light just to save some money when you could legitimately put your life on the line with the use of that light. Have it in your hand. If I'm going outside, walking to a restaurant, what have you, I have the light in my hand at all times. Anytime it's dark, it comes out of the back pocket or off my belt or wherever I happen to keep it. It's in my hand, it's ready to go. Ice pick grip, I can use the light at any time. Now, when should I use the light? Anytime I want to see something, I can just go ahead and light it up. Just use lowest light possible, get an idea what's down that alley, or what's under that car, what's under that truck, what's in the back of that truck, what's around the corner, what's behind the tree. Anything that I can't see, any kind of sound that draws my attention, I can just go ahead and hit it with the flashlight beam. What is that going to tell anybody who's watching? Okay, this guy's obviously paying attention, this girl's obviously paying attention. He doesn't look like food. So if there's someone lurking in the shadows, which sounds cliche, but it's cliche because it's true, that's where they hang out, would they not maybe just kind of avoid messing with you altogether? It's actually highly possible. If they see someone that's prepared, they're going to wait for someone who isn't. Someone who's in their phone as they walk, or digging through their purse, or what have you. So I have the light in my hand. If I encounter somebody, what should I do? Depends on what kind of encounter we're talking about. We don't want to just blast everybody we see with light. However, if I come around a corner and just happen to run into a guy, I can immediately go to the face with the bright beam and then drop it to their chest. I keep the beam on their chest just to maintain a degree of control. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Did I blind you? And then I can explain it away, apologize, but I still have this beam on their chest, which gives me what? It lets me see everything. The beam's there, hot spots on the chest, but I can see their hands. I can discern their intentions based on my own gut feeling with their facial expression, their body language, and the words they use, as well as what's in their hands. If they're obviously a threat, I can keep that beam in their face and go to the gun. If they're ambiguous, if I'm not sure if it's a threat or not, I can keep the beam in the face and maybe get ready to go to the gun. Situations dependent, obviously there's a lot of variables. Another thing I can do is immediately blast them in the face with that bright beam of light and then start to get distance away from them if I feel like they're an immediate threat, or if they just make me immediately uncomfortable. That's just one of my personal techniques that I highly recommend to anyone. And obviously, if you find yourself in a situation where you can't carry a firearm, be you're in a city that doesn't allow CCW, you don't have reciprocity in that state, or if you're in a foreign country, if you go to the UK or something like that, a flashlight is a pretty good means of deterrence, if not a level of force you can use to help deter someone from victimizing. All right, so we talked about just having the light in your hand. Find yourself in a situation where you have to go to the gun, the light's already primed and ready to go. What kind of grips should you use? There's a lot of available grips out there, a lot of devices out there, finger rings and things of that nature you can keep in the light. Lanyards, I really like lanyards. Or say your weapon has a mounted light. You can transition to the mounted light as you make your draw. But just for the sake of your everyday carry light, the light you should always have, light you should have in your hand whenever it gets dim, if I need to bring the gun out, I should have 2 grips that I'm very, very comfortable with. And why 2? Well, there's probably about 20, 25 grips out there, and they start to whittle down as you get into different flashlight types, to where I consider there only be really 5 or 6 distinctly different grips. I suggest you find 2 of those grips that work very, very well. One of them should work well on the right side, one of them should work well on the left side of the body. Now, why is that? If I bring my gun out and say I take cover, say I have a right side exposure or a left side exposure. If me being primarily a left-handed shooter, the light's going to be in my right hand, I'm going to get into, say, a Harry's grip like this. If the cover exposes to the left, my left, I'm going to have to lean out a lot further to get the light into play. Now, if the cover exposes to my left, this is obviously a really good handheld light choice, because the light is going to be out there with the gun. I'm not going to have to lean out as far to bring the light past the cover. Why do I want to bring the light past the cover? Because I don't want the light to hit the cover and backsplash and illuminate me. They're going to know where I am based on the beam of the light. But anytime I use the light, if it's splashing off the cover and I'm right up there on it, it's going to illuminate my whole body, or very, very vital parts of it. So I want to push that light as much as I can past that cover, or at least get off the cover so it doesn't illuminate. So if I have my right side exposure, it makes more sense to have a grip on the light that you can use that will help you expose less of your body. In this situation, if I need to lean out this way using my left hand, I'm just going to use a modified neck index or an FBI technique, to where I can get out, illuminate my threat, illuminate my unknowns, get back in behind my cover if I have to. If I expose to the other side, I'm going to go with my traditional Harry's, and I'm just going to lean out like this, or I might bring the light across underneath me and illuminate here, or I can even do the FBI on this side. I got a lot of options available to me, but I should have 2 grips that work well, one on one side of the body, one on the other, or you can use a light grip such as the FBI or the neck index that works well on both sides of the body. Alright guys, so these are just some really basic techniques, some everyday carry techniques with the lights, things that you should practice and things that you should incorporate into your everyday life. The light is a huge force multiplier. It's a great deterrent. If you have it in your hand, whenever it's dark, whenever you go into a low light area, it allows you almost instantaneous access to what was that noise, what's that sound, what's down that alley, what have you. And it definitely changes your appearance from a third person's perspective of if they want to mess with you or not. If someone's waiting in the dark for someone to stick up or whatever, they're more likely to let you just pass on by because you're situationally aware and you're providing yourself the ability to be more situationally aware in dark environments. I'm Aaron Cowan with Sage Dynamics, Training Court.